You don't gotta be embarrassed in the studio. If a person tell you your shit is whack, woo, accept it and get over it. Especially if it's somebody that put money into what you doing. You know what I'm saying? Respect what they talking about. Or if it's somebody who you respect, whose opinion you respect, you gotta listen. As artists, you know, we're gonna try any and everything, and we think everything is gonna work. But hey, that's not the case. Not everything is gonna work, you know. But we have to stay experimental, but not get shut down when somebody comes with constructive criticism saying, hey, that shit is not up to par. You need to do that verse over. You need another verse. That beat isn't so good. We need another track. You need to make another beat. You need to add something to it. You need to take this out. You got to have tough skin, or you need to develop it. If you are sensitive, which 99.9% of the artists are sensitive, and they don't want you to tell them shit, you know, or their pussy is gonna get in a bunch. But no, that's not the deal. The deal is to be coachable. Every producer, executive producer, CEO, A&R loves an artist that they can talk to. Not an artist that know every fucking thing, because you don't. You don't know everything as an artist. You know everything that you know. But other people have input and ideas and insight that you should listen to and you should follow, and it'll help. I have an A&R, an unofficial A&R, which is my homeboy, and he not a fucking yes man, and he is brutally honest. He don't even know he my A&R, but he my A&R. I take not all my ideas, but most of my ideas, and then just having conversation with my homeboy brings about ideas for, I'm gonna say 75% of the records that I done made, or not done made in the past, but that I have made. And me and my partner, we've been cool since high school, but we started collabing in 2011, 2010, 2011 on the music. We had talked up until that point a whole lot. But when I was making the album, the saga of the saga Swipe Jones, he was in my ear the whole time, not even trying to be, and me not even looking for him to be in my ear or nothing. But me being humble and not having the ego, I listened to what he said, and he was right. But I didn't have to, you know, wait till the people validated to know what he was saying was right. It felt right what he was saying, and what he said made a lot of sense to me. But before I got to him, the boss, the CEO of Boss Man Records, we call him the boss. The boss was the first one to really break me down in the studio, as far as telling me that shit is whack, do it again, it's not right. And every artist goes through that and has to hit that brick wall, because you at your home or wherever you at, your hood, and you coming up with these raps, and you think it's all good until you get around a professional and they tell you that shit ain't no damn good. You need to practice more. You need to do this more. You need to do that. Or yeah, that is good, but you need work in this area, that area. So when I got to the boss, that's where my whole education started as far as being an artist. Because I had started making music, I say in 2000. I've been writing rap since 1996 and trying to be a rapper since 1996 in the 6th grade. But in 2000, I started producing this shit at the crib. You know, I got a 4-track recorder, Yamaha DJ X keyboard for Christmas of 2000. And that's what started my production career. And when I got with Boss Man in 2004, I realized, hey man, a lot of this shit is whack. let me do something that's good, you know. Get on professional equipment, work on professional equipment, and do some good shit. So, it was a long road fucking with the boss. Because, you know, your first experience is the most memorable and probably will be the roughest one. Because you're going through all your learning curves. I went through so many learning curves at Boss Man Records. Once I left Boss Man Records, I was ready for the world. But, yeah, so, okay. The boss was the first person that broke me down in the studio as far as telling me I need to be better, do it better. So by the time, that was in 2004, 2003, 2004. It started in 2003. So we'll just say from 2003, I started getting that education. So by the time me and Joe, my partner Joe hooked up, my A&R, my homeboy, we're gonna call him Joe. By the time we hooked up in, because we had been hooked up in maybe like 05, 06, maybe even 07, and was doing shit, kicking ideas, you know, being creative and doing things. So by the time I started recording the saga of Swipe Jones, which was after I left, no, I was still with the boss. I was still with Boss Man when I was in the process of creating it, when I first started it. And a couple of the beats I had made at the Boss Studio, and a couple of the songs I had made at Boss Man Records, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? I made over there. Breaking Old Habits. What's that other record? Living Large. Bitch, I'm living large. But Spike, in my car. And those, nope, them the only two records that I recorded at Boss Man Records and used for the project, because this is the point where I was kicking it with Swipe William, getting down, and I was coming into my own. I can say that. I was coming into my own. And that was like the end of my career with Boss Man Records. So, me and Joe hooked up 2010, 11, somewhere around there, when I was, you know, recording the saga Swipe Jones. Writing it and all of that. And he was kicking a lot of ideas. Now I'm gonna give you one. Now the record on the saga Swipe Jones, on everything, I love it. He gave me that concept, and that's what I mean by him being the A&R and not knowing that he a fucking A&R, and him unofficially A&R'ing my whole goddamn project. That was the first record I can remember us collabing on, cause that beat, he was there when I made the beat. And my other partner came. How did that shit go? Nope. What it was, I pulled the shit up on. I had the shit up, the sounds for that beat on the pads. You know what I'm saying? That shit was up on the pads. And Joe came to the crib and heard that shit. And he seen my process of how I make beats and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And my partner Phil J, he came to the crib. And he what did he do? I think he put the drums on that shit. I might have added a little something with the drums, but I think he did the drums on that shit. And I may have, you know, did a couple more tricks with the kick, but for the most part, he did the drums. And Joe gave me the concept. He was like, I had 2 or 3 different other records or songs to that beat. And Joe was like, nah. He gave me the hook. He was like, you know, on everything, man, I love you. Like, not telling me, but, you know, he was just kicking the concept like, you know, on everything, man, I love you. You know, but at the same time, it's like, fuck you too. If you on bullshit and I'm keeping it 100 and you not, I still love you though, but it's fuck you. So it's, you know, on everything, I love you. But then it's fuck all of this shit. Just fuck it. Just fuck it. If it's gonna cause us to fall out on everything, I love you. fuck everything, fuck everything, fuck everything, just fuck it. And he gave me that concept. Hey man, you know, like you love a person, and then, you know, when you start going through problems with them, you just say, fuck everything, man, just fuck it. Instead of falling out with you and having bad blood, just fuck everything. On everything, I love you. Man, fuck everything, just fuck it. He gave me that concept, and I ran with it, and I wrote in that concept. Came up with that shit. After I finished recording the album, he put the motherfucker in order. That don't need to go on it, that don't need to go on it. This need to be like this, boom, boom, boom. And all that motherfucker, and it rolled. That's my first claim to fame, in my opinion. The Saga of Swipe Jones. That's my first claim to motherfucking fame. That album. That was when I came into my own. Because I had my own before I got with Boss Man Records. But Boss Man Records was a big learning institution. I went there. I learned. I didn't get to the heights of where I wanted to go. Only because of my own self. Only because of me. So once I left Boss Man Records, I came fully into my own, knowing how to produce, knowing how to engineer, record, mix, you know what I'm saying? Knowing how to write these records. I went through a whole lot to get to that shit. And also knowing how to listen, knowing what my help is and listening to my help. Not stopping the music, letting somebody else idea flourish, not just my own, not being selfish. Music is not a selfish thing. So that's when I came into my own. And Joe A&R that motherfucker, man. You gotta have an A&R, not a yes man. Somebody to give you good insight on shit. And I'm still collabing with Joe today. The Plasma record. That's how we came up. I came up with the Plasma record, fucking with Joe. I talked to a nigga on the phone, cause I'm a notary. A nigga called me looking for a notary. He had some clients that needed some paperwork notarized, and he was from out of town and shit. And we just started kicking it about Charlotte. And he was like, you know, a lot of people there donate plasma. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like our culture here. And he was like, man, where I'm from, he was from Virginia. He was like, that shit is unheard of. We don't have plasma centers where I'm from. And I'm like, what? I'm like, nigga, it's plasma centers everywhere. I done been out through Texas and everywhere, nigga. It's plasma centers everywhere. But he like, nah, we don't do it. We don't do that shit like that where I'm from. And I told Joe about that shit, and he was like, man, you got to make a record about that shit, man. On a humbug. I don't even think he expected me to make the record or what. But my stupid ass, I made the fucking record. I'm like, oh shit, nigga. You know what? I started researching and all of that shit. I'm like, nigga, I gotta make this record now. Once I made it, I'm like, man, this a jamming motherfucker. Okay. After I made the plasma, the nigga was like, you know you gotta do the vaccine. I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't even thinking about that. So that's what I mean about having an A&R. Every artist needs an A&R, and you gotta not have an ego. You gotta have tough skin. You gotta listen. And you gotta not be a bitch about it. Don't whine and cry. Listen to what that motherfucker is telling you that's gonna help you improve your music so people can digest it well. You wanna be able to have your music digestible at all costs. You want it to be digestible. It's cool to have shit go over people's head, but not as a aspiring motherfucking artist. You know, you want to have some shit that motherfuckers can digest. Not fast food, you know what I'm saying? But just soul food, cooked food. You feel me? Yeah, but Joe this is my A&R. The Boss was my first A&R. But me and Joe went to school together, and you kind of like grew up together to a certain degree. And he knows me. The Boss know me too. But Joe knows me on another level. And the Boss is older, so it's a different kind of level of a relationship with him. And then for me to have the kind of relationship that me and Joe have as friends, for it to carry over into the music shit is great. It's great. I don't have to front. I'm not a front motherfucker anyway. But I could be 100% me in front of my nigga and get, you know what I'm saying, 100% real out of him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, what you think about this shit? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You should do this. Nah, I ain't fucking with that. That ain't nah. And I'm running with that shit. You know what I'm saying? If the nigga say yay or nay, I'm running with it because I respect his opinion. But also, what he has told me has proven and been shown to work. I'm running with what works. You have to have a team and you have to have a go-to motherfucker. Joe is my go-to person. But you gotta be a motherfucker with tough skin. Don't be a bitch and don't make it to where people have to walk on eggshells to appease your pussy ass. And if you make it like that, it's gonna be bad. Don't make it like that. Make it to where you easy to work with. Where the fuck my man said? I still gotta wear a mask in this stupid ass place. I got in that wreck going to the chiropractor, man. I'm hurt. My fucking neck hurt. They want me to wear a mask in this hole. I'm gonna just tell them to give me one. But we out. That's the message for the day, baby. Keep your ears and your eyes open, but stay humble. You know what I'm saying? Keep your ears open. Don't never think you above help and a motherfucker telling you something. Anybody in this world could tell you something that's gonna help you with your music. You gotta be open. You don't have to listen to everything everybody says, but you should. You don't have to take it all to heart. Bet that's a better way to say it. Listen to everything everybody says, but you don't have to take everything to heart. Only the things that applies. If it's gonna work for you, then you take that shit and make it work for you. But yeah, that's what's up. We out of here. A&Rs are very important. Get you somebody you can go to and give you a yay or a nay on that shit. Not a yes man.